Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored Never Boring. The other day, Avalon Hill shared a teaser image for content from the forthcoming HeroQuest expansion, Rise of the Dreadmoon. I've spoken about this expansion numerous times on the channel, and to be honest, seeing one picture of a few miniatures didn't strike me as being worth putting together a video. However, I have been thinking about it a bit, and I've since seen some footage from Play, the Games Festival, which is an Italian gaming convention where Avalon Hill showed off the same components that were seen in the teaser image, and which, I should point out, was entirely in Italian and therefore didn't illuminate me quite as much as I would have liked it to. As a result, I thought it might be worth taking a slightly closer look. So first of all, there are three distinct things in this image. 3 Specters, 1 hero, and 4 purple miniatures which we know to be members of the Cadre of the Raven's Veil. I'm sure there has already been a lot of speculation about this image. I haven't had a chance to go through it all and to see if Avalon Hill have confirmed or denied any additional information, so this video is just my raw initial take on what we are seeing here. Let's go through each element in turn. First of all, we have the Specters. We already know these Specters have some nasty tricks up their sleeves, like phasing through walls and bypassing a hero's armour. I've discussed that previously. But looking at these miniatures, we now also know something I think we had all predicted. They are going to be in translucent plastic. Secondly, it looks like 3 is the total number of Specters in the box. There are 3 in this image, and at the Play convention, the host put out 3 Specters, making a point of counting them as he placed them out. Also, there were only 3 Specters on the Dreadmoon box art, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, but is definitely another indicator. I see no reason to expect any more than the 3 miniatures we see here. Furthermore, it looks like we are getting 3 identical miniatures. Again, I think that would be as expected. There was only one sculpt for the giant wolves, ogres, ice gremlins, yetis and polar warbears, and I had already assumed that would be the same case for the Specters. And that's it, other than to say these look like pretty nice miniatures. I'm not fussed on translucent plastic, but the sculpts themselves look good. I like the billowing dresses and the way their hair is flowing upwards. Moving on, we have our Guardian Knight, which is an alternative version of the Commander of the Guardian Knight retailer exclusive hero that so many fans missed out on. The Knight is cast in the regular heroic red colour and is wearing a helmet. It looks like it's gender neutral, which gets around the need for Avalon Hill to include a male and female version as they did with the original Knight. They don't even need to include a set of alt gender cards for the Knight's skills. Interestingly, this new Knight looks like it is exactly the same sculpt as the original female version of the Guardian Knight, just with a head swap and with the plume of the helm coming down over one shoulder. If there are any other differences, I would say they are rather minor. Finally, we have what is probably the most interesting element of the image, the Cadre of 4 elves in a shadowy purple plastic. Here's what Avalon Hill has to say about these new characters. Originally founded by Ladril, the elven fighter mage, the Cadre of the Raven's Veil is a society of elves who have sworn a blood oath to protect the royal throne of Elethorn from the clutches of dread. Often working from behind the shadows, their activities often go unnoticed and are seldom recognised, quietly ensuring the continued stability of their kingdom. Membership in the Cadre is limited to those elves considered the most honourable and loyal to their people, with a roster kept hidden even from the royal court. There's quite a bit to unpack here. First of all, I absolutely love how Avalon Hill are tying different elements of HeroQuest lore into this new expansion. For the first time, HeroQuest is starting to feel like a much larger lived-in world, with interconnected stories that have long-lasting repercussions. I am, of course, talking about the name drop for Ladril. When Zargon, or Morcar if you prefer, first invaded, he was repelled by the barbarian Prince Rogar, assisted by Telor the Wizard, Durgan the Dwarf and Ladril the Elven Fighter Mage. We now know that Ladril subsequently established the Raven's Veil. It's exciting to see the fingerprints of these old heroes on new adventures. Oh, and for those who don't know, as a little aside, Games Workshop did stat out Ladril and Co for their game Advanced HeroQuest. They were included in the rulesbook as a set of alternative pre-generated characters. Anyway, from the text here, along with the image of the elves backing up the Knight in a battle against Specters, it looked like these were going to be heroic characters fighting on the side of good. And that is indeed the case. Avalon Hill have confirmed that on Twitter. We can also ascertain a few other things, and maybe speculate a bit. Being in purple plastic, I think it's safe to assume these are not new playable characters. They are more likely to be like henchmen. However, the text makes it clear that the Cadre is not a large group. This isn't a militia, an army, or a large group of mercenaries for hire. this is a very small select group operating from the shadows, assassins and spies, and each of the 4 miniatures we have seen appears quite distinct. They are in different types of clothing and with different weapons. We have one crouched as if searching the ground for clues and armed with a sword. We have one poised to strike with a double-handed polearm. Then we have one that is more like an assassin with a flowing cape and cowl, a stiletto blade, and most intriguing, a pistol grip crossbow. Finally, we have one dual-wielding hand axes. I think we can assume this one will have the ambidextrous rule, the same as the rogue heir, getting a second attack with those axes. Maybe they can throw them too. I guess the question is, how are these going to be integrated into the game? The most obvious answer is they are mercenaries the heroes can add to their team, just like the mercs from Frozen Horror. After all, there are some similarities to the mercs we have already seen. One has a sword, who is possibly a scout based on the crouched pose, one has a polearm, and one has a ranged weapon. Only the dual-wielding axe warrior seems like something completely new. However, I do think that would be a little lackluster. We have already been using mercs in Frozen Horror and Major the Mirror, and I wouldn't feel too excited about what amounts to reskins of those mercenaries. I am hoping this is something new. I have a theory, and as I said before, I haven't spent a lot of time scouring the internet regarding this, so this theory may already have been disproved by information from Avalon Hill, in which case you can take this theory as something that I had hoped we were going to get. The Cadre is a select secret group. They are few in number and they operate unseen. It doesn't sound like you can employ them like henchmen, they sound more like the A-Team. The Cadre seem very distinct as well, all different weapons, slightly unusual weapons in some cases, and all different outfits. And we have only seen 4 miniatures total, one of each design. Even at the play convention they only showed one of each, even though they made a point of showing all 3 Specters. So, maybe they're 4 unique characters with their own personalities and skill sets. Maybe they're NPCs. With the focus more on progressing a larger story arc with this campaign, it makes sense to me to make them characters that pop up in certain missions doing their own thing, working to their own agenda. Maybe they will assist the heroes sometimes, maybe even being controlled by the hero players, but maybe they will also do things that cause problems for the heroes, where their ideologies diverge, so even though they have the same goal, they will clash with the heroes on how to achieve that goal. Imagine how interesting it would be if at some point our group of 4 heroes had to face an equally skilled group of 4 heroes whose goals are more mysterious. But we will have to wait and see. Avalon Hill don't seem to be in any rush to give us the whole picture, preserving many of the mysteries the Rise of the Dreadmoon expansion contains. Everything, I am sure, will become clear in time. But let me know your thoughts in the comments because that's it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really liked the video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully, I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye.